And like I said, I walked out, man, not a scratch, not a scuffle, not a scratch, not a... I don't like getting hit, man. Defense win championships. It's simple. Like, nigga, I'm gonna go to the club, I'm gonna fuck a couple hoes.
What's going on, you guys? Tony Superbad Harrison. Last time we seen Tony was in his fight against Sergio Garcia. And in that fight, Tony Harrison looked really good. He started off slow, but once he got his rhythm going, he looked phenomenal. His jab, in my opinion, is one of the best jabs in boxing. Phenomenal jab that night. The fight before that, he went up against Brian Perella. And the fight ended in the split draw. Right? The southpaw gave Tony Harrison some trouble. Now, prior to that fight, Tony Harrison been out of the ring for some time. You know, of course, he lost his father and trainer due to the 19. And not to mention, he was coming off that loss to Jermell Charlo. Tony Harrison also seems to be very interested in training fighters. He seems to be training kids a lot, giving back to his city, the community.
The sport of boxing is not cheerleading. You don't need cheerleaders fighting. You need people that's going in the war ready for war. That means the mentality got to be a dog. That means you got to talk your shit. That means you got to live up to your shit. It's fight week. The attitude that you got to have is be ready to fight. You hear Michaela like, all you got to do one word and not cuss. No, cuss. Cuss, because listen to me, you got to sock somebody in the fucking mouth in a couple days. Cuss. Say bitch in the hole. Like you got to punch somebody in the face. Like, whatever.
He's looking like he's training Alicia Baumgartner as well for her fight with Michaela Mayer. So I expect within the next 10 to 15 years, we're going to see a lot of Tony Harrison on the ringside cornering other fighters. But Tony Harrison still wants to take a crack at Jermell Charlo despite everything, right? And he says, I don't want to die saying that I'm even with you. And meaning that they both are pretty much tied as far as having victories over each other. Tony Harrison beat Jermell Charlo in a unanimous decision. Now, some people think it was controversial, but in my opinion, I believe Tony Harrison won that fight. But in the second fight, Tony Harrison was winning the fight all the way up until he wasn't. One punch changed the course of that fight. And of course, Jermell Charlo ended up getting the knockout victory over Tony Superbad Harrison. Very crushing loss for Tony at that particular time because there was a lot of trash talk between the two. It was...
You got the right one to play with. This ain't Jorge Cota. Oh, Jorge Cota going to start speaking Spanish when you start talking and be like, oh, nah. You got somebody from Detroit, dog. Okay. That whatever you want to do, we can do at any given moment, cuz. You could be with 100 of them. You could be with 100 of them. Bleed, blood, whatever you want to do. On power, you could be with all of them. It ain't gonna stop nothing. It don't start on nothing shake, bro. All the money in the world don't make you a real motherfucker. You's a hoe. I don't give a fuck how much money you got. I know a bunch of millionaire hoe ass motherfuckers. You one of them.
Man, that was a really good rivalry, if I'm honest. And after that loss, I always said that Jermell should give Tony another shot to break the tie. Right? Break the tie. Even though he got the knockout, he was losing that fight prior to him catching Tony trying to hook with a hooker, right? But Tony Harrison says this: I still don't like this motherfucker till this day. He still don't like me till this day. But kudos to that man for breaking a barrier in history. But he's still a hoe ass nigga to me. But he's a good hoe ass nigga. He's a good ass fighter. Tony Harrison, sorry for my language, but it would sound weird if I was just sitting here bleeping everything out, right? But that's what Tony had to say. And yeah, he still got a thorn on his side from Jermell Charlo, right? And that's expected when you're a competitive warrior in the sport of boxing. And Tony Harrison also came out recently and said that he would like to face Danny Garcia. Now, Danny Garcia has found his way at the 154, and he looked phenomenal, in my opinion. That's the best I've seen Danny looking in a long time. Now, will he entertain a fight with a much bigger junior middleweight and Tony Harrison, who's 6'1" with a 76-inch reach? I mean, this would be the biggest guy Danny Garcia would have faced off against in his whole entire career. And Tony Harrison, let's be honest, he's not Jose. Tony Harrison has a very, very sharp jab, really, really good boxing. And long as Tony's conditioning is up to par, I think he's tough for anybody at 154 pounds. And then Tony says this: I don't want your belts. We can fight at a catchweight so you can keep all your belts. But I want to get it down pat for the people. For your people's standpoint and my people's standpoint. Who's better between us two? I don't want to die like that. I don't want to die saying I'm even with you when I don't even like you and you don't like me, when we could just fight again. I know you don't want to be tied up with me, and I don't want to be tied up with you. Let's break the cycle. End quote. Hey, I'm with it. Right? Now, Jermell Charlo may be looking beyond this now, right? Is Jermell Charlo, is he looking to move up to 160 pounds? Would he even entertain another fight with Tony Harrison? Who, I mean, let's be honest. He was pretty much outboxing Jermell Charlo the whole second fight. In the first fight, we saw what happened. Some may say it was controversial, but the second fight, Tony Harrison seemed to have got a little too lax, a little too comfortable. He was having it too easy until he wasn't. So, will Jermell Charlo entertain that type of fight? I'm not quite sure, right? Tony Harrison's going to have to do something pretty dramatic, in my opinion, for Jermell Charlo to really look back and say, you know what, let's handle this. Now, if Tony Harrison wins his next fight, gets on the microphone, start talking some shit, start really talking trash. Tony Harrison's really good at trash talk. Maybe he can go Jermell Charlo into a fight. However, boxing fans today may say, well, you got knocked out, you don't deserve a fight, not realizing that these dudes are still tied regardless of despite that. So yeah, Jermell Charlo is at the top of his game, undisputed junior middleweight champion of the world, only one defeat in his career, and that's to Tony Harrison. So they share a loss over each other, share victories over each other. Will they break the tie? Only time will tell. Well, tell me what you guys think. Tony Harrison don't want to die when him and Jermell Charlo are in a tie. Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.